Listen, today I want to talk to you about 5 other tools that play really well with SharePoint. And they are all inside of the Microsoft 365 suite. So I'm not even putting you on to other tools that I'm telling you to, go and purchase. If you have SharePoint, you already have these tools I'm about to talk about. If you have the right what do you call that? If you got the right plan from Microsoft Business Standard. And this will have all the tools that I'm talking about. So, well, first of all, welcome to the SharePoint Help Desk podcast. My name is Thurman Trotman. I am your host. I'm here to talk about SharePoint, but not in a technical way. I like to talk about the why. You know what I'm saying? I want to give you strategy. I want to talk about how you could use it, why you should use it, that type of stuff. All right. So let's hop right into it. So I ain't waste no time. All right. The first tool I want to mention is Microsoft Forms. And if you know about Google Forms, then you know what Microsoft Forms is. It's pretty much the same thing. And here's why this is my first tool on the list. So I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's say that you work at a company that does some type of customer intake. So SharePoint is an internal tool. It's internal to your organization. There's some ways to collaborate with people outside of your organization, but internal to your internal to your organization is where SharePoint lives. So to collaborate on the fly with people outside of the environment, that's not really, like a smooth thing that you could easily do. You can definitely, if you listen to my last episode, collaborate with people outside of your organization, but just doing it on the fly, you can't do. So here's where Microsoft Forms comes in, right? With Microsoft Forms, you can create a form and send it to anybody. They got an internet connection. They can click on that link, open it up, put some information into the form. The reason why this is dope is because you can't do that with SharePoint. You can't just send anybody a link and tell them to put the information in. You can't send an anonymous link out there. With Microsoft Forms, you can. So here's what you would do. Capture the information that you need to in the Microsoft form, and then when they hit submit, it can be sent into SharePoint. So that's the cool part. You know what I'm saying? Is that you can't get a hold of the people outside of your organization and make them fill out a form, but you can with Microsoft Forms. Can't do it with SharePoint. And when you do it with Microsoft Forms, you could then take that information out of Microsoft Forms and put it inside of SharePoint, which brings me to my next tool. The next tool is Power Automate. And the reason why, by the way, my YouTube viewers, if you're seeing smoke while I'm talking, it's because I'm burning an incense. Pardon me to my listeners, audio only. So, okay. Second tool is Power Automate, right? And the reason why I love Power Automate is because of what I just explained. When you have people fill out that Microsoft form, when they put that information into there, the way that you get it out of the Microsoft form and into a SharePoint list is via a tool called Power Automate. This is a workflow tool that Microsoft has given to you that is ridiculously powerful. Like, this thing is crazy. It can handle some basic stuff, or it can handle some really complex stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get your hands on this and get to learn about it, trust me, it's a powerful tool. But it works so well with SharePoint because of so many things that you could do, like that situation I just talked about. But also, I can't remember if I mentioned the person who reached out to me. I don't remember if I mentioned this on the show. The person who reached out to me on Instagram and explained, and it was asking if they could use if they could use SharePoint to do some housing management, right? Right. So where like people, they need temporary housing, and she would like set up SharePoint to manage all this stuff. So one of the things that I told her she could do is create that form, create an external form where people apply for the housing. And then when they apply for the housing, you take Power Automate, put that in there, and let it take the information from that external Microsoft Forms and put it inside a SharePoint list. But it doesn't have to stop there. If you go through the wickets, do what you got to do, and then she changes that that new item. If she changes that new item to complete, we can tell Power Automate to send an email. Send an email to the original person who put in the application, maybe some manager somewhere, and myself, that looks it's a beautiful email. Like it's a really well constructed email that has information from SharePoint. And, it could be like, hey, congratulations, your housing has been approved. Here's the information. Please take these next steps. You can automate that with Power Automate. Power Automate can look at SharePoint, take the information out of SharePoint, put it inside of a email, format it how you would like it, and then send it to anybody. This is beautiful, and you already pay for it. That's what I keep trying to tell you. All right, let me relax. All right. Number 3 is Power BI. Power BI is another tool inside of Microsoft 365 suite. It's actually 1,000,000% free. It's just that when you try to do certain things with it, like share it to others in your organization, I believe, that's when you have to pay to be able to do that stuff. But you could literally go right now, download Power BI desktop, and start using it. Connect data to it and start building reports. You could do that right now. It's a free tool. And it's crazy. You could build a whole entire career off of just Power BI. I'm not joking about that. I'm not exaggerating. You literally can. So let's say in a scenario where you have someone has submitted some external information through a Microsoft form. Then you've used Power Automate to take that information out of there and put it inside of the SharePoint list. And every single time that workflow runs and puts that information in there. Now you got this list filled with a whole bunch of data. Now you want to look at the data and, run some metrics on it. What do? Connect Power BI. Open up Power BI, connect it to a SharePoint online list, and then pull in that data and start building charts off of that data. This is beautiful. I can't think of another word to explain to you how excellent this is. Remember, this is all tools inside of the suite. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I said Power BI is a premium tool if you want to really get some, flexibility out of it. But the free version by itself is still ridiculously powerful. So go ahead and download it and get cracking and start, trying your hand at Power BI. But anyway, that's the third tool, Power BI. Okay. Fourth tool is Stream. Now, Stream is like Microsoft's video hosting tool. So you get to create videos there, host videos there, all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do stuff with video there. But editing video, that's actually Clipchamp, which is a different tool inside of the suite. But Microsoft Stream is where you host your videos. Now, let me tell you why I love this. Because, matter of fact, the community that I was telling you about that I'm launching next year. So right now, I host my risk register training on Samcart. So it sits on a tool called Samcart. You go into Samcart, you have a layout of the videos and a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like it's your videos laid out, notes, links, whatever to support the video, all that stuff. You can take Microsoft Stream and build that same solution. So right now, I could go inside of the 365 suite. I can go to Stream. I can create a playlist. Then I can record a bunch of videos and put them on that playlist. Then I can display that playlist inside of SharePoint. That's literally what I'm doing inside of this community that I'm building. The risk register training, I'm going to put it inside of the community, and it will look just like it looks in Samcart. So on the side, like on the left-hand side, you'll see mini thumbnails of the videos. You click play, and then right next to it, a big video plays. Like you see the big video. You know what I'm saying? So, beautiful thing here. You can take like let's say what you could do with that? You could have various onboarding videos. So if you told the finance people, listen, I need you to make a onboarding video or onboarding videos for your team, get them to me, let me approve them, whatever. You then go create a finance playlist, create an HR playlist. You know what I'm saying? Then put them on SharePoint and let somebody go through the HR playlist. They're good. And then underneath that, click a next button. Now they go to the finance playlist and go through those videos. Anything you can think of where you need people to watch multiple videos, you can do that. You can embed the playlist on SharePoint. Matter of fact, you don't need them to watch multiple videos. You could take any video that you've put inside of Stream and host it, embed it inside of SharePoint. Literally the same way how if you take a YouTube video, You could take the embed code from a YouTube video and put it on your website. You can do the same thing with Microsoft Stream. That's what I'm talking about. So sky's the limit. Go crazy with it. Last tool. This one is a what do they call it? I was about to say a sneaker, but it's not what they call it. They call it a sleeper, You know what I'm saying? But I don't even know if it's a sleeper. I think that people would just be surprised that I would say this because the way I rag on Excel all the time. But Microsoft Excel is a great tool that works in conjunction with SharePoint. You know what I'm saying? And here's why. When you have your SharePoint list with all of your data just sitting there, being really good data, right? You can export all of that data into Excel. And then while the data is in Excel, you can do what you normally do with Excel. You can build pivot tables. You can build pivot charts. You can build other data sets on tabs. You can do whatever you want. Well, you can do what you normally do in Excel. Do all of that fun stuff in Excel. But guess what? You're not sending that same spreadsheet around telling people to enter data in there. If you want your spreadsheet updated, you update SharePoint, which is the real source of information. When SharePoint gets updated, all you do is go back to Excel and hit refresh. When you refresh that spreadsheet, guess what happens? Your pivot tables refresh. Your pivot charts refresh. Whatever you got going on inside of the spreadsheet that's connected to SharePoint, it refreshes and it pulls in the latest, greatest data. This is a beautiful thing. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not familiar with Power BI yet, but you're real good with Excel, export your stuff to Excel and do what you normally do in Excel. You don't got to go to Power BI yet, although I would implore you. Yeah, I believe, to use Power BI. If you're an Excel person and you like to build charts there and all that other stuff, go to Power BI, test it out, and tell me what you think. I guarantee you'll fall in love because you could do all that stuff you do in Excel plus more. It's, for the millionth time, a beautiful thing. All right, now before we move on, let's recap real quick. Microsoft Forms. That's the number one tool, or the first tool I mentioned, that allows you to, that plays nice with SharePoint. That is the reason why I said that is because you can take external data and move it to the internal environment, which is where SharePoint sits. Power Automate, that situation I just explained, that is how you do that. You automate things with Power Automate. You take data from different apps in the suite, put it in SharePoint, or take data from SharePoint and run different things, run approvals, run whatever. Yo, I'm telling you, I am not doing it any justice with this little 5-minute situation I'm talking about. It gets deep in Power Automate. Power BI. This is where you build your reports. You know what I'm saying? Create these beautiful dashboards. You know what I'm saying? These pie charts, these bar charts. You know what I mean? These matrix tables and all that. This is a beautiful thing. And don't forget, you can use it for free. But once you want to do some other things with it, I believe it's share it. Once you want to start sharing it all through your environment, you got to pay a premium for that. And it's not even a lot. I think it's like $12 a month per user. Microsoft Stream. That is beautiful because that's Microsoft's video solution, but you can take that video solution. My favorite thing is the playlist. You can take a playlist and put it on your SharePoint site, embed it there. And I'll be putting this into practice when I put my risk register course inside of the community that I'm building next year. But not just risk register, my WBS course, my SharePoint 101 course, my document course. Like all of that stuff is going in there and it'll be sitting on playlists, super easy to see and consume. And then Microsoft Excel. People might think it's a 4-letter word around here, but no, I love Excel. I think too many people use it incorrectly. And so that's why I'm always on a crusade trying to show people like, yo, Excel is powerful, but you're using it the wrong way. My favorite thing is to say is that you're trying to eat cereal with a fork. All right. Now, for those of you that are new here, what I like to do right after the main topic is a segment called LinkedIn Love. This week on LinkedIn Love, I'm giving a shout out to my guy, Mac Laubscher. And reason being is because shout out to Martha. My people's Martha put me on the Mac a long time ago. And what Mac does is he runs audio rooms on LinkedIn. The main one is Social Saturday. Why am I having trouble saying that? Social Saturday, which is where every Saturday morning, you know what I mean, 12 p.m. Eastern. So every afternoon, every Saturday afternoon, we run a room where we run different topics, but every end of the month, the last room of the month, we always do like a networking event. I used to come to this room all the time and just have me a good old time. But one day Mac was like, hey, I think I want to invite you to be one of the hosts, one of the regular hosts of the show. And I was like, yo, what? Hell yeah, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? So he brought me on to the team. And now it's like, I think like 5 or 6 of us that every week we host this thing. But unfortunately, LinkedIn in their out of their mind decided that they were going to kill audio rooms. I'll have more on that in the future because I feel like if there's an uproar, maybe they won't do it. But man, I love audio rooms. You know what I'm saying? Reminding me of old school radio. Anyway, shout out to Mac. He's a LinkedIn guy. If you're trying to get your LinkedIn right, go see Mac. Go follow Mac. Go take one of his free trainings or take one of his paid trainings. He will get you on the right LinkedIn track. You feel me? Shout out to Mac. Okay, so we're back at fan mail. And I think, like I said, I'm going to start calling this fan mail, but maybe I won't because I just realized I don't need somebody to go into my podcast app and click send a text to shoot me for me to grab some love from the listeners of the show or from the SPHD community. Because let me grab my phone here. All right, you wasn't supposed to hear that. Hopefully you hear all that. You got to be professional with your audio. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not an audio snob, but you got to be professional with your audio. I hate when I put out jacked up audio. Okay. Shout out to Kadibi. I just got a follow from Kadibi. That's what's up. Okay, so the other day I put out a video about, I believe it was external sharing, and Ariel Lyons, out of nowhere. Shout out to Ariel Lyons. You know what I'm saying? Ariel said, "You have seriously changed my life with Sharepoint. I may have lost countless hours of sleep that I will never get back, but alas, so worth it. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge." You know what I'm saying? Now, I love that. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. First of all, shout out to Ariel. You know what I'm saying? Because out of nowhere, just, you know, she watched the video and then was like, "Yo, let me share this." So shout out to Ariel. That's what's up. But the part where she said she lost countless hours doing her thing, right? I know what she's talking about because when I first discovered SharePoint, I was down a rabbit hole on a daily basis, trying to soak up all the information that I could, try to figure out how to do things, how to fix things, how to advance my SharePoint skills. Like, I just was constantly Googling stuff, and this is how I found so many people in the community that put out such good information. But that's one of the things that I'm trying to keep you from doing. And when I say you, I mean you, the person who's learning about SharePoint. You might be listening to the show because you're trying to figure out more about SharePoint. That's what I'm going to do in the community next year. When I build this community, which, by the way, is on SharePoint. So you'll see it's going to be meta. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be inside of SharePoint learning about SharePoint, right? And I have what I consider a decent first set of steps, or a streamlined first set of steps when you're first getting started with SharePoint, so you're not all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So that you can take the best road possible to get yourself started, and then from there, just keep building and building and building and building. So that's where I want to help folks. That's one of the things I want to do with this community. You get in there, and there's a banner at the top of that page that I'm building. It says "Start Here." You click "Start Here," and I'm gonna take you through what you should do to lay your strong SharePoint foundation. You'll hear more about the community as I talk about it as we go up. It's gonna be like when Howard Stern was talking about going to Sirius, and he used to call it because the sponsors wouldn't let him say Sirius. But now we on the internet, we can say whatever we want. Baby, you heard? All right. Announcements. Oh, yeah, here's a new announcement. So you know how I tell you to go to sharepointfreebie.com to start your list building training? Cool, but I just added documents there. So I've been talking about documents a lot this week on social media. So I just added the Future of File Organization. That was an event that I held early in the year where I talked about documents. I showed people how you can replace your folders with metadata. But also, I like to say that, you don't want to necessarily replace them, but you could use them in conjunction with your folders. But it's a really good replay. Good amount of people attended. We got some good questions. I did the demo, all of that. It has chapters. So go to sharepointfreebie.com if you are interested in seeing metadata in work, you know what I'm saying, in motion, where I showed you what it looks like with folders, then I showed you what it looks like with metadata. It was a whole thing. We had a good time, you know what I'm saying? I like to think that, I do good demos. I do good training. So go to sharepointfreebie.com, get that now. You can still get the list building training. It's there. Just in addition to that, you also get the document stuff now too. Because I know people love documents. I don't use a lot of documents, not my thing, but I know millions of people use millions of documents, so that's what we're here for. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate this. Thanks for rocking with me every week. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to this on a regular basis, I appreciate you. Give me a review or something, or send me a message. Send me some fan mail. All right. Thanks so much. I'm gonna talk to you next week. Appreciate it.